Truth is, I am Iron Man.
At the height and start of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, it's no news that Robert Downey Jr. shaped this universe. His character, on and off screen, was iconic to say the least. Today we wanted to take a look back at this iconic film and some of the Easter eggs within it as well, so make sure to stick around to the end because there might be a few that you never even noticed. Iron Man was one of the first comic book heroes to come to life in the MCU with a standalone film, and they couldn't have casted a better person for this role. Premiering in Sydney on April 14, 2008, it's a day to go down in the history books, for many people didn't know this was only the beginning of a decade-long battle in future films for the MCU. But before we get into this recap, some Marvel trivia. How many pieces make up of the Iron Man suit? Leave your answer in the comments down below and stick around to the end of the video to find out if your answer was correct. For the beginning of this film, Tony Stark rides alongside Marines until there is a random explosion in the vehicle in front of them, resulting in an attempted kidnapping of Stark, who is a wealthy, intelligent businessman who of course invented Iron Man in terms of within the film. Funny enough, initially Iron Man was a vehicle for Stan Lee to explore Cold War themes, particularly the role of American technology. Continuing on with the story, Stark is in the middle of an ambush as he attempts to escape. All of his men are down. He gets wounded by one of his own missiles. He is then kidnapped successfully.
Just click it, don't change any settings.
The script was not completely finished when filming began, since the filmmakers were more focused on the story and the action, so the dialogue was mostly ad-lib throughout filming. The director acknowledged that this made the film feel more natural. Some scenes were shot with 2 cameras to capture lines improvised on the spot. Robert Downey Jr. would ask for many takes of one scene since he wanted to try something new. Gwyneth Paltrow, on the other hand, had a difficult time trying to match Downey in a suitable line, as she never knew what he would say.
Representation of a spring period?
No, the Springs is actually the neighborhood in East Hampton where he lived and worked, not spring like the season.
And a little factuality error, at around 2 minutes, though it makes for a good kidnapping, in reality, US soldiers are specifically trained to never to stop when ambushed in convoy. Then we flash back to Tony being captured and imprisoned in a cave by a terrorist group called the 10 Rings, and a montage of Tony Stark's life, American patriot, son of Howard Stark, building his first circuit board at age 4, and at age 6, his first engine. But real quick, make sure you guys check out our Instagram page, linked down in the description. There's a ton of interview moments and memes, so make sure you check it out and give us a follow. We learned that Tony took over the company after his father's passing, Stark Industries, at age 21, and jumped to Tony in his house working on an old school car. And just within the first 10 minutes of this film, it's incredible to look back at how Robert Downey Jr. played this character and comparing it to his real personality. There are some similarities. The director wanted Robert Downey Jr. because he felt the actor's past was right for the part. He commented, "The best and worst moments of Robert's life have been in the public eye. He had to find an inner balance to overcome obstacles that went far beyond his career." That's Tony Stark. Robert brings a depth that goes beyond a comic book character having trouble in high school or can't get the girl.
This time, a judge gave Downey hard time, state prison for nearly 1 year.
Okay, I believe that concludes proceedings.
For past several years, he's just going through the revolving door of rehab.
He also felt Downey could make Stark likable, but also depict an authentic emotional journey once he won over the audience. It's obvious that his character lives a very luxurious lifestyle with the fancy cars, huge house right on the right side of the mountain, and private jet. Stark and Johansson secretly built a small, powerful electric generator called an arc reactor to power Stark's electromagnetic and prototype suit of powered armor to aid in their escape. We see Stark woken up with the prototype on his chest that's keeping him alive. To which comes in the military and forces him to build a missile for them. Of course, he initially tried to refuse but realizes he has no choice, being dragged outside realizing all of his weapons have been stolen by these people. He plays along with the idea that he will be doing this, as they said they would free him when he's finished, of course a lie.
It will set you free.
No.
No, it won't.
The other prisoner who saved his life, 𝘧𝘢𝘉, is by his side during all of this as he collects certain parts to build the first version of the Iron Man suit. And looking back at this first picture of the prototype for the Iron Man suit all of these years later is incredible to see.
The Walking Dead, because it takes about a week for the bulbs to reach the vital organs.
What is this?
That is an electromagnet hooked up to a car battery.
Agent Phil Coulson, played by Clark Gregg, was originally a much smaller part. In fact, the character at first was only called Agent, but as filming went on and Gregg's chemistry with all the other cast members became apparent, they added more and more scenes, and it's very interesting when these moments happen, and it actually happens a lot. Even more so with the multiple takes they did with Robert, with him coming up with more clever words to say during shooting.
The FBI, the CIA.
We're a separate division with a more specific focus. We need to debrief Mr. Stark about the circumstances of his escape.
I'll put something in the book, shall I?
Jericho then barges in, suspicious of what Stark and 𝘧𝘢𝘉 are doing as they are being watched by cameras, but Stark jumps in saying he needs him to help him with building the missile, hoping he lay off. They do, and in return they are able to complete the plan of finishing the suit so they both can escape. And that escape scene was honestly so great to see again, and just how the suit looked compared to the original. He walks through the desert after flying away in the suit and gets rescued by his original team.
Where to, sir?
Take us to the hospital,
No.
please, Happy. No, Tony,
No
you
is a
have to go
complete
to the
answer.
hospital.
I don't
the
have
doctor
to do
has
anything.
look
I've been
at
in
you.
captivity for 3 months. There are 2 things I want to do. I want an American cheeseburger.
And another factuality error in this film, at around 52 minutes, 𝘧𝘢𝘅𝑒 talks about UAVs as not having the experience or instinct of a pilot. In reality, UAVs are not completely autonomous, but piloted from a command area by a person, and thus these arrangements against UAVs are void.
You humanitarian now or something?
I need you to listen to me.
No. What you need is time to get your mind right.
Moving into the second half of the film, Stark starts a press conference announcing that he is shutting down production of Stark Industries. He comes to a realization that there's more for the company than just building weapons. 𝘨𝑝ediah Stane, his father's old partner and the company's manager, advises Stark that this may ruin Stark Industries and his father's legacy.
Fine. Effective immediately, I am shutting down the weapons manufacturing division of Stark International until such a time as I can decide what the future of...
In his home workshop, Stark builds a sleeker, more powerful version of his improvised armor suit, as well as a more powerful arc reactor for it and his chest.
2, 1.
Personal assistant Pepper Potts places the original reactor inside a small glass showcase. Though Stane requests details, a suspicious Stark decides to keep his work to himself. Making a surprise appearance at the charity event and is approached by Agent Coulson, who he pays no attention. Reporter Christine Everhart informs Stark that his company's weapons were recently delivered to the 10 Rings and are being used to attack 𝘧𝘢𝘉's home village. He then, of course, goes there as the village is being attacked, finding the missiles that Jericho ordered. As Stark is finishing up the last bit of the finishing touches of the final version of the suit, he sends Potts to hack into his database. He discovers that Stan hired the 10 Rings to kill Stark, but the group went back on their promise when they realized that they had direct route to Stark's weapons. Potts meets with Agent Phil Coulson of S.H.I.E.L.D. to inform him of Stane's activities. Stane's scientists cannot duplicate Stark's miniaturized arc reactor, so Stane ambushes Stark at his home and steals the one from his chest. He manages to get himself pulled together to get the original sector Potts put in the glass container, suits up, and of course comes to the rescue, taking on the suit that Don created.
I never had a taste for this sort of thing, but I must admit, I'm deeply enjoying the suit.
In a post-credit scene, S.H.I.E.L.D. director Nick Fury visits Stark at home, telling him that Iron Man is not the only superhero in the world, and explaining that he wants to discuss the Avengers Initiative.
I'm here to talk to you about the Avenger Initiative.
Well, what are we avenging?
Whatever the hell we want.
At around the 1 hour 50-minute mark, just before the final press conference, Tony Stark is reading the newspaper with a grainy, amateur photograph of Iron Man on the cover. The picture is part of a video, shot by onlookers hiding in a bush during initial filming. And of course we all know I Am Iron Man was ad-libbed by Robert Downey Jr. Kevin Feige appeared using it in the final cut of the film and credits this with his decision to largely do away with secret identities in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Only Spider-Man conceals his identity, while Thor's alter ego, Donald Blake, is similarly not used. And back to the answer to our trivia question, roughly 450 pieces make up the Iron Man suit.
So that it's a very low relief strap.
Stan Winston's reputation and Shane, the guys on that team, I've worked with them before. Every time you go into their shop, you go, oh my God, and they did that, and they did that, and AI, and this and that. And you see a history of films that I grew up on. The reason that I'm playing Tony Stark, the reason that I'm involved in Iron Man, the reason that I'm so excited is I'm crazy about movies. That's why I wanted to become an actor.
So what did you guys think about this recap? Do you enjoy these recap style videos? If you did, make sure you hit the thumbs up button to let us know. And were there some moments that you forgot about happening in the film, and do you miss seeing Robert Downey Jr. in the Marvel Cinematic Universe films? Let us know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. Make sure you subscribe with notifications on for more videos just like this. That's it for today though. We'll see you all next time with a brand new video.